Christopher Rosen with Gold Derby. I'm so pleased to be joined by Darren Aronofsky, a former Oscar nominee and the director of the new film, The Whale with Brendan Fraser, receiving standing ovations around the world in festivals and a lot of great critical acclaim so far. Darren, I wanted to start. I spoke to Samuel Hunter previously, and he was saying it was basically like 10 years to the day when I talked to him that you had seen The Whale on stage. And obviously now we're seeing the movie here 10 years later. What was it about the play when you first saw it that made you think it would be a great film adaptation?
Well, it was very unexpected to feel so much in 2 hours. I laughed, I cried, it made me think, it made me connect with people I never thought I could connect. And it was something I had never seen before. It was a character I had never seen before, and being kind of let into his humanity was a great gift from Sam. And it felt like it would be incredible opportunity to help amplify that story for the cinematic universe.
So then how did you kind of go about, obviously the movie takes place in like one location pretty much and like over a short amount of time. When you're thinking about like how you want to make it look visually and like more cinematic, I guess, for lack of a better word, like how did you think about it? Obviously I think you've succeeded, but I would like, it doesn't seem like something maybe when you're seeing it, they're like, oh yeah, this could be a movie. So I guess like, how did you like think of it visually? Like,
yeah, well, my mentor, Stuart Rosenberg, director of Cool Hand Luke, always talked about theater as kind of removing a slice of a cake and staring at the inside of a cake while cinema was being in the cake. And I think that was an exciting thing to try to demonstrate for myself, because you know, you could with a camera and with text and with great blocking, you can subtly be inside this whole universe, this whole world, spinning with these characters as they move through space, and help to amplify their performances and help to amplify the words, and kind of just be more in it and be in the room with these characters. And you know, when you finish a movie, your editor assembles all the footage and they present it to you like 2 weeks after you finish shooting, where you've already run a marathon, and it's called watching the assemblage. And it's always the most depressing moment of a director's life, because you've just run a marathon and then you realize, oh no, I've got another marathon to do. But for me, for the first time in my career, I was actually incredibly relieved, because I was like, the film is not claustrophobic. The film is actually engaging, and I was caring about the performers, I was caring about the characters, I was caring about the words, and I was just engulfed in it. And so that for me was a relief. And then I could start doing that second marathon of polishing it and being as good as it can be.
Do you think that's because, I mean, obviously, like it's the alchemy of everything, like you're saying, like the performances, and you have these great casts and these great characters, but is that also like, I guess, do you think it's the amount of time you got to spend thinking about it too, like having this long, like living with this show, or like the play and the story for like 10 years? Do you think it all helped at all?
Well, I don't think I really started to do the hard work until I cast Brendan Fraser. All the years up to that, I was thinking about how to make the script better and better. I mean, my team were working with Sam to adapt the play into a screenplay, but it wasn't really the heavy lifting until the casting idea of Brendan Fraser came. And then it was like, okay, here we go. How are we going to pull this off? And that's when all the real work starts and all the focus starts on scene by scene, thinking about, okay, what's happening here? Where is the right place to put the camera to capture what the actors are doing in front of me?
Right. So for Brendan, obviously, I've read it. I think this may be in Vanity Fair, correct me, but he was saying how you were looking to like reintroduce an actor, is how he put it. And he was looking to be reintroduced. So
I wasn't trying to reintroduce an actor. I was just the right actor at the right time in the right place. I had thought about every actor that I could imagine over the years, and none of it really sparked for me or got me excited to get out of bed and do it. Like nothing felt like, oh, that's a good idea. But then when I stumbled on this trailer of a Brazilian movie with Brendan playing a supporting role, I was like, wow, we never thought about Brendan Fraser, but that's a really good idea. And then I met with him, and it was clear that he hadn't been given an opportunity in a very long time, and he had a lot to show, and he wanted to share it. And so for me, that's the most exciting place to be as a director, to have an actor who's just wants to work. And I knew that the part of Charlie was not just technically going to be very difficult because of all the makeup, but emotionally was going to be a huge challenge. And it just all lined up. Sorry for cutting off your question.
No, that's perfect. And I guess what I was going to say too is I think one of the things people, when they're watching the film, and certainly I think in his career, he has I've seen people say like a great vulnerability, right? Like it just comes through and his humanity kind of comes through, and you're able to capture that so well. I guess, is that something that even helped you with unlocking Charlie even further, maybe, or taking the character in places you didn't expect, because having him in the role maybe allows you to do different things than a different actor would have?
I think absolutely. I think I didn't know what he was going to do take by take. You never get that much rehearsal. We had 3 months of rehearsal. Excuse me. We had 3 weeks of rehearsal.
I was going to say 3 months. Wow.
3 months would have been amazing. We had 3 weeks of rehearsal. And the actors were on a taped out set with, it was super low budget film, so we couldn't afford even a double of the couch. So all the furniture was like boxes and stuff. And so the actors, of course, didn't give everything they were going to give. They were just sort of working through it, and we were working through the blocking, and which was become extremely helpful. But I didn't really know what I was going to get till camera started to roll. And when it did happen, I remember thinking, wow, this is unexpected, but it's interesting. And I think you allow an actor, when you're working with an actor of Brendan's ability, you see what they're doing, and then you respond to it and you allow for it. So yeah, in the moment I was reacting to it. But I mean, one other story about that kind of demonstrates something interesting was right before we shot the movie, I went to the Lincoln Center has a library where they basically photograph every single play that's done in New York City, and you can watch it. And I decided to go back and watch what I had seen 10 years, or I guess it was 8 years earlier at the time, just to see if there was anything that I could learn from the blocking or anything. And there wasn't much there for me to get, because it was very much a play, and I was already thinking how I was going to be moving the camera. But the casting was so different than what I had cast. The way that actor played Charlie in the play was so different than kind of what I had a sense of what Brendan was going to do. And every actor was unique, but still I had this incredible emotional experience when I saw it. And I think that just shows you how rich the text was. And I'm pretty convinced that The Whale will be a play that will be performed on stage for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned like these actors. I mean, I was like, Brendan was saying you like, I think he was like, you do a lot of takes, and he was really excited about that because obviously it gives him like room to maybe do stuff. And Sadie was saying how she like the movie like kind of taught her how to be comfortable in front of the camera and stuff. You've obviously got a great track record with performers from like your first films, and like just these incredible performances you're able to get. I mean, like at the risk of like giving away trade secrets, but like how do you do it kind of, or how do you like, it just seems like it's like a constant with your work where you have these amazing acclaimed performances. And I think that's a testament to you as a director, but like, how do you think about it?
Well, I think it starts with the role and the writing is that the opportunity presents itself for the actor. And then I think it's very much finding the right actor who wants to take advantage of that opportunity. I do remember one story from Ellen Burstyn when she first read the script for Requiem for a Dream. She was like, hell no. And then she talks about, then she saw Pi and she realized, oh, okay, maybe this kid's approach will be a little bit different than what I was expecting. And then we met and it worked out. I remember Jen Lawrence telling me when she read Mother's script, she threw the script across the room at a certain point. So I think it's like, yeah, it should be, the challenge should be clear for the actor, and then it becomes the job of the director just to communicate in a kind of clear and straightforward way everything that's going to happen and what's involved and the challenges to the best of my knowledge. You know, I was like, I don't know how long you're going to be in the makeup chair, but it's going to be a lot of time of you sitting there, and then there's going to be people out between every take coming up to you and like tickling you and squeezing you and pinching you and gluing you. Just so you know, that's like what's coming. And I give them time to think about it. And then it's just, it's really just kind of a collaboration. I'm not like, I'm not like a father figure or stuff in this. I just try to be the actor's best friend, where they're challenging me to do good work and I'm challenging them to do the best work they can. And so it just becomes like a jam session where we're there. And I've been thinking, I was just thinking about this the other day. I was, the time between action and cut, which is this incredible moment of time that is so exciting, because basically the actors finding this moment of honesty, and all of these different crafts and artists are coming together to create this one like beat of truth. And if you actually look at the amount of time between action and cut, compare it to the amount of time it takes from the beginning of the idea to the delivery of the film, it's the smallest amount of time. It's like 0.05% of the time of making a film, yet it's why we all do it, why actors do it, why I do it. And so I love doing another take. Why not? It's just why we're here. It's like that's the time to play around and have fun. And so it's about finding actors that are excited to explore. Then you get someone like Chau, who every single take does something different, a whole new idea that is just like, oh wow, it's just like, it's just like reading a line of poetry and realizing, oh, that line of poetry can be read so many different ways and mean so many different things.
That's awesome. You have mentioned, I kind of want to ask you, mentioned like your previous films like Mother and Requiem for a Dream. These are movies that I think people would say are like dark, or I don't even know what they would, like they're, like you kind of get the idea. This movie I feel like is very, there is a darkness to it, but there's a big, like a hope. And obviously I think it ends in like thinking of reconciliation and all these different things. Do you feel like as you've gotten old, do you think you could have done The Whale like 20 years ago in your career? Like, do you feel like you've gotten like this is a movie that you could have only made at this stage in your life?
Maybe, I don't know. I think I do know that I look back on the older films and you're not that filmmaker anymore. You moved on. Right now we're doing this 25th anniversary of Pi, and we've been remastering it. And I can remember pretty much every day of shooting that. Like every scene I could remember being there, but it's not the film I can make right now. It's just a different person that did that. So I think I'm always just trying to move forward. I take, it's important to kind of keep challenging yourself with new types of characters and new types of challenges every inch along the way.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess you mentioned like earlier, like seeing the original play, and like kind of like wanting to bring the message out and all those different things. Can you like, how do you now that it's out and that you've made the movie, like, how do you hope people will take this movie, I guess, and how do you hope people respond to it?
Well, there's so many different things. First of all, look, it's been a long time since you laugh and cry in an audience together. So I really hope people go for that theatrical experience. It's like, I can remember some of those movies that I grew up with where you're like, just feel so deeply. And Sam's writing is so beautiful and there's so much hope. And it's kind of dealing with the things that we lost so much in the last few years. We lost so much human connection. And just hearing those words together, like human connection, is just, it's almost an oxymoron in many ways, because as humans, we are connected, right? We're this one species. So to say, like, it's just said that human disconnection has become such a big thing. And Sam is so uncynical and so hopeful and so like rooting for forgiveness and love, with all of the complexities of that I think it's a great journey for people, and a great release for people. So I hope people come for that reason.
Yeah.
Also, you connect with the character that too often is dismissed, and you realize how connected we all are. And that to me is like it's exactly what I needed after kind of being all alone in one room for 2 years.
For sure. And I remember seeing like Requiem for a Dream at like Film Forum. So I'm like, I've definitely the experience of seeing these kind of movies, I think, in the
Film
theater.
Forum or the Angelica? You saw
Maybe I feel like it was Film Forum, or what's the other one? Like Film, what is the one downtown?
Requiem actually, because I remember it was at Union Square back
Okay.
in the day, because there was a sign, and I have a photograph. That's the only reason I have that photograph, that said, no one under 17 will be permitted to enter this thing, and there were guards and everything. But maybe it played Film Forum later on. Did you see it when it first got released?
No, I guess not. Maybe, or maybe it was
maybe
Angelica. I'm trying to think now too, but I definitely saw it in the theater because I remember that experience very, very fondly. Because it is a great movie.
I can remember, there are all those movies that you go to that you leave and you're like, you can remember the theatrical experience. You remember walking out, what theater you were and how you felt. I can remember Do the Right Thing, leaving the theater on that one. And anyway, there were just many experiences like that.
And I mean, you're responsible for a lot. I could tell you where I saw Mother, and also, Noah. I remember all of these, but this one I think as well. So, Darren Aronofsky, director of The Whale. Thank you so much.
Thank you.